Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Space Corps podcast. It's Friday night. You know, we're live on YouTube. Get on in here, share the feed, tell your friends. Of course, if you can't hang out during the live, come check us out. We upload this to all the Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, and everything. Appreciate everybody for checking in tonight. Of course, this is Stoney live from the TCM Museum of Minnesota. We finally made it to the weekend, everybody. It's always a good feeling, man. So, of course, the show cannot be made possible without the love of our sponsors, the TCMFanClub.com. That is the end-all, be-all Texas Chainsaw fan base. Completely free. You don't need to buy a subscription or nothing. You just log in, check it out. There's a really cool message board and stuff, too, with a community presence. Show some love there. Our co-producer, Brett Gill. Mr. Gilly is the godfather of that. Can't thank him enough for all of his contributions there. And, of course, if you like the show and you want to support us, we got the merch page is open, shop.spacecorpspodcast.com. You get the pod merch, Stoney's TCM. You can even join the Space Cadet Army. Ladies and gentlemen, that's enough of that, because tonight I have been over the moon about this guest, because if you know a thing or two, the TCM's kind of a theme around here that we absolutely love. And this man is not only one of the most unsung heroes of it, who got our beloved Sally off to safety away from Leatherface. There is much more to this man's career, and I cannot wait to talk to him. Mr. Perry Lorenz is in the house tonight. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing this. It's the magic of the internet to me right here. There's so many just, ugly things about it, but the connection to finding people, it's astonishing, and this makes it possible. So, everybody that's watching right now that is unfamiliar, which you shouldn't be, because we've been hyping this up, but Perry landed himself a nice gig at the end of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original 1974, as the pickup driver that Sally jumps into and drives away while Leatherface is chasing her down the road, and then which leads to the iconic chainsaw dance. For one, how did you even land that? Did you know Kim? Did you audition? Did they find you driving around with a pickup truck and they said, "Hey, we need you for a minute"?
Well, I knew Kim quite well. We called him Toes back then, and he refuses to acknowledge that. But anyway,
Uh,
Kim, and he was fooling around, and just heard, with making this horror movie and so forth. And I was a mechanic. At that time, I was teaching engine mechanics at Austin Community College, and I had a shop and, equipment. And they had these chainsaws, and couple of them. One of them, anyway, fooling with the clutch to make sure it would disengage so people didn't get chopped up too badly. They were so careless with those things, which are murderous weapons. It was like giving a 8-year-old an AK-47 to let those people wave live chainsaws. So that's anyway, he knew me, and he asked me about that. And then it was time, as they were making the movie, I was completely uninvolved, just gossiping with him a little bit. And he said, "Well, we've got the end of this movie coming up, and we need somebody to drive this pickup truck. And we want it to be dramatic," which in the end it wasn't. But at the time, the idea was I was going to do a highway patrol, if you know what that is, where you give it the gas, cut the wheel, and make it spin around in place and come back. And it was going to be very dramatic. And I was all pumped because I thought I could do that, not really knowing much about the background of the movie or where it was all headed. So the day came to do all that, and did it about 15 times. And finally, the clip they ended up using, it looks like I just made a U-turn. And in the credits, it says I'm a stunt driver, which I thought was a little bit odd.
They added to your resume you didn't even know about.
Yeah, stunt driver. So anyway, it was all coincidental. I had a few days in this whole being out there and around. I think I got paid less than $100. And at the time, we were all admittedly kind of rolling our eyes, thinking, where in the hell is this going? Does anybody
Sure.
really care? And you don't really get it, that it was going to really amount to something. And most of those characters hung around Austin, stuck around, and we've seen each other on and off. Although there was a dead period that lasted about 25 years when nobody cared about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was over. I'd forgotten all about it. And then the 50th anniversary came around, and the mayor made a big deal out of it. And there was a big to do down at City Hall and
Yeah.
all of that. And that kind of set it all off. And now all of a sudden there's a lot of interest in it. And that's my story. But I
It's
have more to
yeah,
do.
they like reinvigorated it, right? It's were you even aware of the idea that there was conventions for like horror movies and outside of the normal, you know, Comic Cons?
Yeah, no, not really. I wasn't an aficionado. Didn't know about movies or film or any of that. It was all just kind of a fluky thing that happened.
Sure.
I can't remember Toby, who I got to know a little bit, who was basically the man on the scene more than anybody else.
Mm.
Last time I saw him, they had an Austin Film Society convention of some kind here, and I went up and talked to him. He didn't know who I was. So I think at the end, I think Toby, some kind of dementia or something got him. And
Sure.
upset. It's gonna get
Yeah, I'm
all
your stunt driver, remember?
he didn't remember.
So now your first convention that you did was Cult Classics in I think 2022, right? That was the first time I think that you actually
Yeah.
went for Texas Chainsaw. How did that feel to you? Were you surprised at the the attendance, the people lining up to meet you and have you autograph their items? How did that feel?
I just unbelievable. I was utterly shocked, and I would have signed anybody's anything for nothing.
Sure.
And I was told, don't do that. Don't give your sig. It cheapens all of it for all of us. And I got reprimanded because I signed a few things. And in the end, I think I made about $3,500 in about an hour and a half.
That's wild.
And anyway, so yeah, the fact that anybody would really care, and I think it was more to do. It's not that I had such a starring role or anything. It's they have a poster and it's got the signature of everybody but me because I've got
Yes.
dark. I hadn't been fooling around with those conventions. So it was
Sure.
more about having the complete lineup than it was about me being important.
I there's definitely a part to that where us as collectors, yeah, you got the main cast, but then it's like, finding just that the additional parts and pieces to the legacy of that film, and a lot of it too is finding, well, this cameraman and this sound person and
Yeah.
who did the voice and narration, all that. But yeah, I remembered in real time when all of a sudden it was announced that you were coming and everybody was like, oh my God, like this is
It's
great.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Us
But my
collectors, we're goofballs, man. It's we go very hard for a lot of that stuff. So
So tell me about what you're up to and just quickly. I mean, I see
yeah,
all that stuff on the wall. What do you do every day and what's it about?
yeah, absolutely. This is definitely the hobby side of life for me. In the regular real life, I'm a father of three young kids. I've got a wife. We've got an old Victorian home up here in Minnesota that we bought that we will forever fix up. They kind of did the usual things in town where they take these old beautiful homes and turn them into multifamily housing units or group homes. And my wife's always been infatuated with just the charm and the old history, and the butler pantry and the original the woodworking in this place. And so we found this diamond in the rough is the nicest way to put it. And so we moved in here, and every weekend we're trying to plug away on it. In the daytime, though, I work for a large electrical contractor. I'm a regional tool manager and a facilities manager, and which I'm kind of interested here because you in outside of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which obviously was an early part. You're a real estate developer for Austin,
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct. Yeah.
And that to me is That's amazing. I've always I come from just a long line of carpenters and electricians, and my cousin's even a real estate developer up here in Minneapolis, and that's just excellent. I heard that you went to the University of Texas, so you've always been born and raised Texas guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I went to high school in Houston, and I guess that kind of makes me where I started and came all the way to Austin to go to college, 140 miles away,
Okay,
and huge adventure. And that was the late 60s, and Kim included. We were anti-war. We did nobody majored in business or engineering, even architecture was suspect. And we
sure.
all got degrees in English and philosophy and stuff like that. And I think Kim was the English major. And then ultimately I sneaked back to business school and got an MBA when I was 30, but
Oh, okay.
don't tell my friends.
We won't tell toes.
uh, Yeah, so the town was nothing then. Everybody came here, went to school, smoked pot, listened to music, had a big time, and then they had to grow up, get a job, and go to
Sure.
Chicago, New York, Dallas, whatever. And then all of a sudden it flipped, and the high tech scene started, and we got Meta
Hmm.
and Google and Atlassian and Tesla and on and on. And now all of a sudden there's a ton of young people with a bunch of money, but
Yeah,
30s and 40 somethings making, 175 to 300,000 bucks a year. And,
that's wild.
it's just turned the town upside down.
Yeah, it's I haven't been there, but I'm definitely follow closely with that town especially. I mean the recent the more the boom of like the Joe Rogans and the podcasts and the
Yeah.
comedy scene. It's really just exploded that town. I mean, it's wild, and you almost it's like you're always happy for like success in your city and all that, but you almost kind of go, all right, don't tell everybody about this place because we still want it to keep its charm and the things
Yeah.
we love, and not become like the new Los Angeles or anything like that.
And I'm afraid we screwed that up. And we're past the tipping point. I kind
Yeah,
of, and I'm a hypocrite because I'm in my business. All that's good for me, but at the same time, I have my regrets.
sure.
It's a small town, and it's just it's completely different. So, but here I am.
So what I guess area of real estate did you do with developing? Were you more like high rise big buildings, or do you mind sharing a little bit of that?
No, in the end, it's been high-rise, big buildings, but just started out. Eh, in the old days, anything downtown Austin didn't work. Everybody got off work at 5 and went home, and they rolled up the sidewalks and nothing happened. And
Oh, okay.
every Class A or big office building built here until 1998 was taken back by the lender, a failed project that didn't work. And I got in the business when that was the case, and I was able to accumulate property downtown that nobody wanted. And then all of a sudden, we know what happened. And it wasn't that, oh, I'm so smart, I saw it coming. It was, I was right place, the right time, in the
Okay.
right business. It was absolutely flukish. It's not, some brilliant brainstorm that I had and I laid a big trap for everybody and got rich.
Sure.
I just sort of dope, 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 dope. Because of the timing, everything worked out. But, so I built some pretty big buildings downtown.
God, that's interesting.
Condominium.
Are you still involved in doing that, or is that gonna be a lifelong passion, or am
No,
I
I'm
just
kind of I'm 77. I've had enough waking up screaming in the night worrying about that stuff. So
sure.
I still have some residual deals and I'm interested in it and I'm active in the UIL and
Sure.
so I'm still involved, but I'm done.
Well, and it's nice that you can kinda almost step into, like, a consultation role, afterwards, and you still kinda dabble when you want, but you're not getting the phone calls in the middle of the night, or, you know, dreading the inspections and the punch list, making deadlines, and
All that, yeah, indeed.
so
Have
then, I think it's really interesting about you and Kim's relationship there. So you guys went to school like throughout the whole time. Did you guys grow up and like go to high school together and as
No,
well?
no, he was there were a handful of those guys from down in South Texas, Refugio, I think, and they were kind of a clique. They hung around together like you do with your friends. And I had a group of friends, and somebody overlapped, and we sort of just started, commingling and kind of got
Mm,
to know each other. I wouldn't say we were close personal friends. I think we knew each other quite well and saw each other at least a couple times a week. And it's funny. He wanted somebody to make sure a chainsaw would start and somebody to drive a truck, and that's about all I knew about it. I'm not part of a creative force that created this incredible movie
sure.
that people don't stop
Well,
talking
and,
about.
and it's interesting because it's like it sounds like you weren't your original dream was not to be an actor and do all this. It just
No,
kind of just
no.
an appearance. Hey, you want to do this? Sure, why not? And
Well, he did another movie later, I don't know, 10 years ago.
the
And
Butcher Boys, correct?
yeah, and he tried to give cameos to all of his old, fat alcoholic friends of his. And I had a ridiculous token role in it. But I tried to watch that movie. I couldn't understand any of it from
Uh,
start to finish. Don't tell Kim I said that. But did you
we'll cut
watch
this
it?
part out.
Did you see it?
Yes, I saw. I actually
Did it
saw it.
make it? I don't think it made sense.
It's been some years. I know I watched it, I think around 2020, 2021.
Uh-huh.
But for everybody watching, yeah, that it's a 2013 release. It's called Butcher Boys. It's a horror, but it's got some comedy aspect to it. But yeah, the very interesting parts about it is that Kim Henkel was the writer for the movie, and then he has you in there. John Dugan, who played Grandpa in the original, is in it, and also Ed Neal, who was the
Yeah,
hitchhiker.
yeah.
So it was just to me, I it tugged at the heartstrings as me as just the love of the movie that all of a sudden he's calling back all the fellas from the movie and putting them in this, and I don't think enough people know about that, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
I don't know. I suspect it was a box office failure. I'm not sure. I don't think anybody ever made any money. Do you know?
I saw like the review or whatever you get a Rotten Tomato score or something, yeah. I think it was mixed for sure. I
Yeah.
think it was, maybe in like the 40 or 50%, but there's been a lot of other movies that come out that, are just flops. So um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And he had another movie, Eggshells, that he did here early on. Toby did. I don't know if that's on your radar screen. It was
No, it's not.
probably 5 years ahead of before Chainsaw.
Oh, okay.
And it was another one that was tough to follow. But it was about a hippie couple, but in Austin. It's probably worth your time. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
bet you can find it on Netflix or
Oh,
somewhere.
I'm sure. We got plenty of people watch. They can dig up some stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Gilly in the chat, he says, "Wow, he kept the chainsaw going. I wonder what it was like back then, for working on the saws. I mean, a lot easier back then. It was so much easier to, you know, simple more mechanics on there.
Oh,
But
yeah. No, no. Yeah. Yeah. It's either gas or spark. And
right,
see, if it's spark, it's points, plugs, or condenser. If it's gas, it's the carburetor. I mean, you could fix it. Today,
sure.
you don't have that luxury.
So when he talks you into doing this movie,
Uh,
and you said there wasn't too much background to it, was it like as limited information that all of a sudden you got in the truck and then also you look behind and there's this crazy guy in a mask, and a chance
yeah.
that you're like,
Well,
what am I doing? Or were you briefed at least a little bit where you kind of
there's
got the
some
premise?
pictures out there. I'll send you a couple of them where you can see where the cameraman's standing and where various people are doing what and waving people on. And so when you see
Yeah,
the movie, you just see me, the truck, and her. But
sure.
there were 6 or 8 people right in the middle of that. Uh, it 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 was really fascinating. The other one was when what's his face gets run over. I know
Yeah, yeah. Ed Neal,
Ken.
the
Yeah.
hitchhiker. Yep.
Yeah, the hitchhiker. And they filmed it backwards. It was kind of an interesting process,
Oh, really?
how they did that. Damn, it's something important to say. It was so important, I forgot it.
Not a problem. So, and then Gilly's also saying that Toby Hooper told me about the Eggshells movie. So Gilly is friends with Hooper's son, who's still kind of dabbling in movies and things like that. and he's actually got a there's this kind of folklore urban legend that's actually true, is that his son shot a Texas Chainsaw film that never saw the light of day. It never even really finished. It never got to like the editing stages, but it had it had Bill Moseley, who was in the second one from the 80s. He played Chop Top, the guy with the metal,
Yeah.
plate in his head. But yeah, it's funny with just online like this, like you say, Austin, like something sparks and everybody's talking about it, the 50th year anniversary. Well, this movie's really become in the spotlight again. And Brett, he's been talking to this guy, which is just wild. And he's trying to coax him into finishing the project. And it's kind of just like, well, I don't think it's that good of a movie. It doesn't matter. It's just, what you can release to the fans, it'd be so appreciated.
Yeah. Well, another interesting thing was you sign a contract with the Screen Actors Guild, I guess it is.
Yes.
Basically, these any movie or footage you have of me is now yours. I have nothing to say about it. You can use it in any way you want. Hereby
Mm.
sign off on it. And I'll say, okay, great, why not? I would say 10 years, 15 years afterwards, I get a letter and a check in the mail for $1,800 that says the footage that of me driving that truck and looking over my shoulder, that you can almost recognize me, actually can't, that they use that in a movie called American Gigolo,
Really?
American Psycho. Well, oh God. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's playing in the background while this guy's doing sit-ups and sweating and grunting and groaning, and
Oh.
they sent me $1,800, so I thought that was a good deal. I think it's American Psycho.
I think so too. Yeah. God, it's blanking me for who's the main guy in there, but no, I think you're absolutely right. Um,
He's a
isn't that just
Brit.
isn't that wild how they can just? I mean, you think like a small detail like that, it wouldn't come back to you for like a residual, but all of a sudden you go, wow,
That's more than that's 18 times what I made making the movie. And then a few years later, I get another check, same amount, and it's a Bruce Willis movie that I don't know if it ever saw the light of day, where he goes in his son's bedroom and screams at him about do your homework, turn off the damn television. We're sick
Yeah.
of it, slams the door and walks out. Kid turns the TV back on, and that very scene is playing again. So that got me another $1,800. So there's big money in this.
That's awesome. Well, especially like you said, I mean, this was something you got paid $100 for.
Yeah.
It was kind of just I mean, I would feel it was like a pretty homemade feel. Like you're like, this isn't really much of
Yeah.
anything. And then and now now you can see also you can go to a convention and you walk out with some cash in your pocket after 1 hour's time. You go, oh my God, okay. Have you done any other appearances since that one?
Um, I went somewhere and sat on a stage and answered questions about
Oh,
it
cool.
where they showed it here. It was part of that 50th anniversary,
Yeah.
but not really. I could have and should have and would have and was invited to, and people I know, part of them go, Ed Guinn, that's a big part of what he does. And
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm a family man. I'm busy, and
Sure.
you know, I'm
Well,
not.
absolutely. And again, that's why it's like it was I just found it so appreciative that you were even entertaining the idea of, doing that. I really I appreciate that because, what I mean, like you say, it's something you did a long time ago. I'm dealing with this and so that's excellent. So Ed Gwynn then too. So
I
you've
did
kept
see him.
relation with him?
Oh, I just know him from the old days. He was a
Okay.
prominent member of a band, early psychedelic band in the 1967, 68, 69 Austin. It was kind of a character. People knew him.
Sure.
And how he got landed on for his role, I've never talked to him, but I'll bet it's similar. I'll bet it's complete serendipity, fluke.
It's yeah.
He's not a film guy. He's not a movie star. He's not, doesn't have aspirations of being in horror
Right.
films.
And,
So,
yeah, we actually Ed's coming on the show, in a couple of weekends from now
oh,
or
good.
so. So that was really exciting. It was kinda once we got in touch with you and him at the same time, and I go, look at this is excellent here. So yeah, it's I'll
He's
have to ask him about that band and see
yeah,
what
I
he's
have to
got to say.
tell him Perry said he was in a rock and roll band. Don't deny it.
Oh man,
Uh,
I just and then he had him back for the second movie in the '80s. He was like one of the judges in the chili, competition.
yeah,
I love that the relationships are formed, and then it's just I don't know if it's more just out of respect or hey it was successful or we just it's a good tight knit people. I'd like you to come back and do another project for me. I just it's really
yeah,
cool to me. I
yeah.
think
No,
you
it's
know.
nice.
But yeah, with the Screen Actors Guild thing like that too, I just again it shows you the the value of unions and things like
It
that too, where
does.
it's just like I mean they really are looking out for their people to the point where you could be a split second in a Bruce
Yeah,
Willis movie in the background and they go he's gonna get his.
we owe you money. Yeah, and it probably I wouldn't even have noticed it. You know what I mean? It would have just gone, would have been nothing, and yet, boom, they pay you. Anyway, I think it makes people want to cooperate with them, and I think they do a good job. It's the union story. Without them, you're not much. They do take a big cut usually, but
Yeah. I mean, as with much of the union stuff too, it's again with the day job there, I'm very involved with with electricians and unions like that. And I tell you, I'm personally not as we're involved in the tool side of it, but I try to stay away from union politics as much as possible because it's ooh,
that's right.
there's a lot of passion there, as it should be. I mean, I love it, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but it's you never I say never be on the opposite end of the union if you pissed them off. That's
No. Have you had Allen Danziger on? He
I
was
have,
great.
yes. I've had Alan on twice.
Oh, good.
Him and his friend Ray Spivey, they've come out with a new movie called The
Oh
Weed
yeah,
Hacker
weed whacker
Massacre.
and stuff.
Yeah, and I had him on once before it came out, and then now I think back in January is when those two came on again. But you talk about one funny guy. I absolutely just enjoy his company.
No, he's a stand-up comedian. It's that Borscht Belt Jewish, New York humor. It's just funny as hell. He's just funny as hell, and just a smart aleck. I mean, I like him. I think it's great. I'd say it if he's sitting right here.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. He's got a
Uh,
lot of energy. He's got to be 84-ish or something by
yeah.
now.
Yeah, and he literally is a stand-up comedian. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just his mind just works so he's so fast, and yeah, it's and he's so with it still. I mean, it's just like it's just amazing to talk to him and the stories that we can
He's
hear from
built
you
his
guys.
he's built his life around this. This is his pers
Yes.
is
Yep.
his
Yeah.
world.
He's his whole chainsaw Jerry,
That's it.
line and everything. But it's again, it's another reason why we say, we thank you for doing stuff like this because, you know, you might think they're just kind of goofy stories, but this is, I mean, this is insight that is like it's so interesting to hear, these back and forths on this stuff. So,
Yeah.
and especially to be able to do it in this kind of a format where, this is now, it lives forever, instead of it, in-person appearances, you can have a conversation, sure, but that's just a person to person thing where,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
absolutely. One other thing, Marilyn Burns,
yeah,
uh, who was the starlet, she is 1 year younger than I am and 1 year behind me in high school, and we went to school together.
really.
Was one of my wife's best friends, they're the same age, and complete fluke. Kim had been talking about making this movie, and I told you the casual circumstances, and the first day, I
Yeah.
show up there and there's Marilyn Burns, for God's sakes.
Uh,
Where's this coming from? And
small world.
she's made a few movies,
Wow, that's so interesting.
but
So
small world stuff.
that's what I mean. It's and again, like that tidbit, nobody, or barely anybody knows that. And that's just
Yeah.
like again, it just ties together just so much and
Uh-huh.
oh man. We've got Eric Crimmins. He is a well-known live auctioneer for horror memorabilia on our Facebook websites and pages. He's asking, may I ask Mr. Lorenz what he thought about the film after seeing it for the first time?
Um, I don't know. I was not impressed because
Yeah.
I've been kind of part of it, and I couldn't really pass judgment I think I was probably more cynical and negative than anything else, I hate to
Yeah.
admit.
Oh,
Uh,
that's fair.
as years rolled on, and these stories, the apocryphal is just incredible. Like the University of Texas lost an important football game a couple weeks after they'd watched the movie as a team, and they're blaming it on the movie. It's responsible because they didn't get a good night's sleep or whatever.
That's funny.
Um, so I don't know. I came to it. It grew on me, and I'm still surprised that it's become such an iconic thing that people actually talk about and study in school. Even
Sure.
so, I guess that's my response.
Well, that's I mean, for the time when that came out, there really wasn't a movie like that, and it was just, I think it's all the makings of it, obviously, is just what, you could never replicate it again. But I think just the fact that it was just so, a lower budget type of thing, and just the feel of it was just so eerie
Well,
and
I sent you that picture, didn't I? And if you could share your screen, you ought to show it. It just shows you the casualness of us. Here we're having this big important meeting about what's going to happen that day, and sitting on lawn chairs or on the ground, drawing with sticks in the dirt about where we're going and what we're doing. I mean, it was just the spur of the moment, ad hoc stuff. But anyway,
yeah.
that I think that picture sort of tells the tale about.
That's awesome. Now that pickup truck then that you drove, that was not yours, right?
That
That
was
was just
Kim's. That was
that was
Kim's, and it
it
had a
was
dealer
Kim's.
plate. You could see the dealer plate had been poorly removed, and there was still a lot of goo from the tape on it. It blocks my otherwise beautiful face.
Yes.
Turn around, I look through that glue from the dealer tag. So it was a fairly new truck, and I believe it belonged to Kim's wife.
Wow.
Who was married at the time. I think it was her truck.
So,
I
so
need to be
did she
careful.
know that you were whipping around in that thing and pulling?
She'd have had a fit.
I bet she would have. Oh, that's funny. So when you said you guys did 13 takes or so of doing that, did you have some really good ones too where you're
Well, I felt like I did. I felt
yeah.
like I did. And every time I did it, at each and every time I thought, boy, I'm going to wreck this thing and I'm going to get very unpopular. No, it worked out in the end. But and the truth is, I'm more in the credits than I am in the movie, frankly. So,
Hey, I just it takes everybody to put that together, and whether the I don't think the length of time is relevant at all. I think like I say, I mean, what your character did, I mean, at the end of the movie, you were the one that saved her and got her away from that nightmare, and that's I mean, without your character,
yeah,
you
man,
know
they all owe me.
they do, and more than $100. We heard recently that some of the actors there they just got paid in pot instead of getting money. So I don't
Yeah.
know if that was the better end of the deal back then. I think I'd take the money, but
Well, it was really hot and really miserable the whole time, just super duper hot, like over 100, just day in and day out, no breeze, no wind, just the way it was. And
oh, being a Minnesota native myself, and I'm on the opposite end of the temperature spectrum there, and we live in 20, 30 below for 8
yeah.
months out of the year. I don't even think I can fathom that kind of heat for that long. But do you ever get used to it down there though? I mean, is
Oh
it?
yeah, you
I'm sure you
eventually
got
do.
to.
We got lots of air conditioning. It's like my mother-in-law said, the coldest place in the country is in an office in downtown Houston in July because they crank up the air conditioning
That's
so
funny.
hot.
We
Anywho,
were doing for my day job, we were doing the Tesla battery plant that was down in Texas. Whatever it was, maybe in the early 2020s. But they had gotten a cold snap where there was like an ice storm. And some of our general foremen, we were talking with them, and they were just laughing because we're used to driving around in that, in 4-wheel drive trucks, and they go, well, nobody down here has 4-wheel drive. It's just you don't really need that much of a feature. But they go, it was the slightest bit of slick roads, and they shut the entire town down.
yeah,
And
schools are called off, send it
yeah,
home.
and which I mean, obviously, it's good reasoning. You don't want people getting hurt, but they were just like, we couldn't believe it. It was like the most mildest weather conditions to drive, and they go, we were. It was like a ghost town. It was almost like an apocalypse movie type of
Yeah.
thing where you're after the comet hit or something. Excuse me. So we got another question here. What was everyone doing on the sides while filming? Were people smoking pot? Do you remember how hot out it was? Well, we already hit the
Yeah,
hot
it was
part.
really hot. And yeah, I mean, it was all it was so casual back then. And yeah, people were, it was not it wasn't the centerpiece. You read these articles and like you were just saying, you get paid
Sure.
in marijuana and
Yeah.
all, that's overstated. But yeah, it was very casual. People were smoking pot. And I remember one day the guy, I think he was either from Midland or Lubbock, was an oil guy, and he put up the money to make the movie, the original money. And I want to say it was originally 90 grand, maybe. And he had a red Cadillac. I mean, it was almost a stereotype.
Yeah.
Sitting in the Cadillac, it was started raining one day. So he and Marilyn get in that Cadillac, and all the rest of us are standing there in the rain like idiots. And those windshield wipers going flop, flop, flop. It's just an image that burned itself on my brain. And I think in the end it cost more money than that, but not much more than that. And of course there was a fight over that. There were lawsuits and people were selling it without paying royalties, and it's just a psychodrama for years and years. And think it finally sorted out and the right people started getting paid a little money.
Sure. Another question that somebody's got. I like this one here. A good technical one. How far from town was Quick Hill Road? Did you guys just park there and drive there and park from the film?
Well, it was what it looked like. It was a farmhouse with nothing around it. And it was up near Round Rock, Texas, which is a suburb, I don't know, 15 or 20 miles north, bedroom community, people at work in Austin. It was just an old farmhouse back then. All that land now is subdivisions.
Hmm.
And so it was just what it appeared to be. There's plenty of ways to get out of the way so you don't see all the
Sure.
stuff going on, the production equipment. So uh, just a little town, a little farmhouse.
Yeah. I mean, I why not keep it all contained to right there? I mean, why
Yeah,
go miles down the set when it's quiet and it's ready and
yeah.
you know. Um. So when um when it came out then, and were you contacted kind of when it was all released? Did you get like the courtesy call from Kim or so, or did you just like,
I think just normal friendship gossip channels. Hey, it's coming to town. It's going to be playing at the X.
okay,
And myself, my wife, and a couple other friends, we went and whooped it up every time I showed up there at the end. I think there
well,
he is.
at least they give you the courtesy for it, and it wasn't you're all sitting hearing all this, the stir in the newspapers, and you go, hold on a second, I was in that thing, and
Uh, well, again, it's just amazing that it became what it became and got the reputation that it got.
it is forever quite a legacy in cinema history, which is I believe that's got to be just a shocking concept to think
Uh,
about nowadays, but it really is, and it's
Well, it's interesting because it really isn't that graphic compared to today's, slasher movies, blood and guts and crap getting blown up against the window and the lens and all the super realism of the blood and guts. It
sure,
really wasn't there. The
yeah,
suggestion was there. And when that chick gets picked up and put on the meat hook,
yeah,
it didn't show the hook entering her body and destroying human flesh. It just,
right,
the suggestion was there, but it
yeah,
was now enough to make people think it was scary, but it just wasn't that graphic.
sure. Well, yeah, and that's a whole other aspect of it. It's just like it's just enough where it relied on her as an actress to portray the pain and the feel of it to connect with you, and you go, oh, and just make you squeamish, and
Yeah.
yeah, there. I mean, you don't really see people getting hacked up with the chainsaw and things like
Oh,
that, and I like that too.
yeah.
I think
Enough's enough.
yeah, and that's it. I mean, it's like, I mean, I definitely I've watched my fair share of the really gory stuff, and that's fine too. But I think it's too easy to put that in. It's almost like, you know, like filling your dialogue with just cursing and, just kind of
Sure.
filler words where it's like,
Gratuitous violence.
yes, exactly. Somebody else is just saying thank you for being on the stream tonight. It's a very
Oh,
great episode, so informational. So,
that's
and I don't know if you're ever on social medias or not, but definitely one thing we like to do after this is I clip lots of little spots, and put them up on there. So you might find yourself on old TikTok and YouTube
good.
shorts. And
Good. You want a quick picture of me with my shirt off or anything right
I
now?
absolutely here. Well, yeah. Again, Perry, I really appreciate everything that you've done here and for hopping on. Are there any other aspects that you're working on with Kim Henkel that we need to know about? Is there going to be,
No, I ate lunch with him and Danziger, I guess a few months ago, and
Oh, that's
but that's
cool.
about it. Kim is he doesn't love the spotlight. He's not interested in has he been on your show?
He is not where I'd like to say he's a good prospect. I've yet to connect with him, but
No, I think you should try. He's got this really deep smoker's voice that's really kind of interesting, and he's a man of few words, but when he says something, it's generally worth listening to. So I think he'd be a real good hit, and he might be inclined.
I appreciate that. So that's definitely Gilly. That's our next lead here, buddy. He's my so Brett Gilly's the one that reached out to you originally. He's just a wizard with online and that, and he can just the connections he finds with people. I'm always astonished by it. But yeah, Kim's definitely gonna be on the radar for a few more that we're getting on here, and
Good.
yeah. So well,
Yeah.
again, I appreciate it. We'll wrap it up here, and if there's ever anything else that would make you want to come on back, maybe you're unveiling the next newest high rise in Austin, and we can do a a screener of the
Advertise.
Texas Chainsaw up on the roof. Let me know.
All right. And we can talk offline. You wanted a picture that I can give you.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I did send you a message on the Facebook Messenger too, so I don't think we've confirmed on a friend thing or not, but I'll make sure that we get in touch because I'd
Yeah,
love
and
to
I'd
see
like to
that.
get on your side. I'm not on it. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, well,
all right.
everybody, I appreciate y'all checking in again. We're live every single Friday. We may not have the greatest guests like TCM legend here, but you never know who else is coming on. Like Ed Gwynn's coming on soon, everybody. So,
That's good. He's a good one. All right.
all right, Perry, have a good evening. Thanks for
You too.
everything.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.
In the vast expanse where the cosmos sighs, drifts an ancient tale as old as the skies. A figure from stories now mythified, Space Corpse goes orbiting by. He once roamed planets, both far and wide, but now he floats where the starships fly. No more breath in his chest, yet can't be denied the space cadet who died. Oh, oh, Space Corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space Corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. No anchor to worlds, just space to bide. Gliding through stardust, no need to hide. This wanderer who never cried. In weightless silence where time collides, he drifts in dreams so amplified. Mysterious tales on mystic rides. Space Corpse haunts so dignified. Oh, oh, Space Corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space Corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. A spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space Corps goes orbiting by.